Welcome back to the Optional Boss podcast, where sometimes we talk about games. Actually, all the time we talk about games. This is episode 62, where we are talking about casual games. And Tyler has returned. I want to once again thank Toady for replacing him for the week. Tyler, how you doing?
Hi. I'm swell. I have a little bit more available time to return to my post at this here podcast. But yes, Toady, if you're listening, thank you for coming in my stead. I gave the episode a listen. You guys did a fine job talking about sim games and games of that nature. To be honest, it was probably a topic that, I could probably have a few things to say, but I mostly would say, Warcraft is neat, but that's an RTS, and also SimTown is fun.
Yes.
So no,
it's funny because we did the entire episode and we only briefly brought up The Sims. And it's that's kind of one of the go-to ones, right?
Well, and SimCity, the original, and
yes,
even
which we did talk about a little bit, but we made comparisons.
Yeah, I just think the Super Nintendo one's got really nice music.
Yes.
But yes,
it is still my favorite SimCity.
I am swell. I am back. I haven't had...
So you haven't had a whole lot of time, right?
No.
What have you been able to play?
So in my... So much stuff has happened in my brief absence. Oh my god. Switch 2 came out. Liza P DLC just kind of happened one day. Other stuff, I think there's probably 3 or 4 games sitting on my Switch shelf that I haven't even been able to crack the pack. It's there's Cyber Shadow, Nostalgaia. I just picked up Rido Remastered today. I don't know when I'm gonna get to that. It keeps piling up. But in the time that I have had available, I have been playing Armored Core 6 still. I beat it 3 times. So,
yep.
I had a pretty darn good time with it. Oh my god, high recommendation. Mechs are cool. That's kind of my takeaway from it. But
see, that's one thing that worries. I enjoy FromSoft, but I'm not a huge mech guy, so I don't know how I'm going to feel about going into it. But I do want to try it one day.
It's just one of those games that just feels cool. And wicked plot, wicked gameplay. Currently the best thing I've played this year, but we still have time this year. But other than that, the only other thing so I did pick up a Switch 2, and I'm not going to go too in depth about my experience with it. I'm sure we'll talk about it once the console's been out for a little longer and we've had our time with it. But
I'm sure after a little rambly what we've been up to, we can talk a little bit about it just because it is relevant.
I suppose so. But just to make things short and sweet, I think it's great. I love the Switch, and this is just the Switch Plus. So fantastic. And I've been playing Mario Kart, and it's delightful. It's I don't normally go out of my way for just single player cruise, and it could be because it's new, it's fresh for the new console, but it feels good. It's fun. It's probably the wackiest, but not in a ridiculous throwing items way, just as a racing game. It's very creative. The music, oh my god, the music's incredible. Yeah, and I technically rolled credits on it, so I guess I beat it, ? But either way, no, it's stupid fun if it's your kind of thing. It's a system seller, that's for sure. So
right.
But that's really
clearly
about all I've had time for. So many a thing on the horizon now that I can put down Armored Core. How about yourself?
Honestly, I also got a Switch 2. Don't have any Switch 2 games though. But one thing that's been really nice is a lot of the games that kind of struggle on Switch seem to be doing a lot better on Switch now. Not that I've been really playing anything, but Nostalgaia was a little stuttery, and I haven't checked it out. I know a lot of stuttery games have been improved, just because better hardware, right? As for what I've actually been playing, I was in a bit of a limbo. I booted up Banjo-Tooie on N64 Online. I think I would have enjoyed it as a kid.
Yeah.
But Banjo-Kazooie is so much better.
I
structurally much better. I think it's the whole how it's all laid out is just kind of bothersome for me. Um,
So I have a weird
there's
comparison to make with Banjo-Tooie, and I feel like it's one of those if you know kind of feelings. But I would say Banjo-Tooie is very comparable to Majora's Mask.
I could see it, yeah.
You know, it's either some people are going to absolutely love the ways they changed it. Some people are going to be like, I think the much more concise and straightforward one, it just ages like wine, you know? So
Yep.
that's a shame. Although I've never actually given Tui a fair shot either. But
And that's why I kind of booted it up.
yeah,
I put maybe 3-4 hours into it, just kind of wandering around, and it's all right.
got a taste for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Aside from that, boot up Rain World. Wasn't really in the mood for it, so
it's
I
mean.
have. It is mean,
Yeah.
and it seems really neat. So I do want to go into it. So I booted up Aria of Sorrow
Ooh.
and
That's
finished
one of the
that.
greats. Yes.
Got the. Now there's 3 endings, right? There's a bad ending, the good ending, and the best ending.
I think
But the best ending requires all the souls.
yeah, because there's the first ending, which you're actually only like 60% of through the game, and
Yeah.
It's funny because I've actually referred to that ending before. I think very early in the podcast.
Yes.
Because it's the
You
one
thought that was it.
it's the one where they're just like, well, I guess that's it. That doesn't feel like it's it. Yeah, but I guess it is. Let's go home.
Yep.
Oh, it's so disappointing. And yeah, no, Aria Sorrow is fantastic. It's so what would it take you like 5-6 hours at most? Like it's pretty short.
If that. It is pretty short, but it's a good time. I'm really happy I played through it. And I've since gone on to a game I never finished before in the same series, same, I guess, kind of timeline, which is Dawn of Sorrow.
Yeah.
It's a sequel. And I started this up on the DS years ago, and I just couldn't get into it. A lot of it is because of the touchscreen bullshit that they... I'm notorious for not liking gimmick controls. So touchscreens, I don't like... I've mentioned my kind of distaste for it. Don't like the waggle controls. And this, like, on the DS version, you are restricted to beat the boss. You have to get his health down so much. Then you got to like do a little drawing, which is a magic seal. That was always a pain in the ass, and it didn't give you a lot of time to actually do it.
So and because you haven't gotten through the game, and I have beaten it quite a few times now, actually. So the seals, for those who don't know, they start off as like you get this circle, and it'll have these points that show up, and you have to to connect the dots. And you'll at the start you make like basically like an hourglass or a figure 8, and then later it'll be like a star pattern. And when you get to the end of the game, it gets so absurdly like scribbles, but precise scribbles.
Yes. So, and now on the touch version, you have to get those lines like right on, right?
Yeah.
Or close to. So I'm doing the Dominus Collection version for Switch. So obviously not using the touchscreen. And I got a little worried because it brought up a little message saying, some things require the touchscreen. And it's like, shit. Okay, here we go. No, it just seems to be like the touching the ice blocks.
Oh,
to
yes.
remove them.
Yes, that was a very dumb
which
ability.
is fine.
It's like,
yes.
okay,
and
just wipe them away.
So just the right stick is your cursor, and you can wipe them away.
Yep.
For the magic symbols, it does button combinations. So it'll show you the buttons of each point. You still have to draw or hit them in the order that they are. So you have to remember the actual seal order. So like the first one is almost like a V. So top left, middle bottom, top right.
Yeah.
And that might be Y, A, X. Something like that.
Yeah.
The one thing I don't like is each position is never the same for different magic seals. So top left is not always going to be Y.
So it's not like you can kind of just memorize. It's not like a rhythm game. It's just...
You can memorize them.
Yeah.
But like Magic Seal 1 top left isn't the same as Magic Seal 2's top left.
Yeah.
But Magic Seal 2's top left is always going to be Magic Seal 2's top left.
At least it doesn't randomize it like every time. Because
yes,
it's so dumb where you beat the
And
boss.
it gives you a lot of time to actually do it.
Oh, good, because maybe it just gets shorter later in the game, or maybe they just extended it to be generous. Because some of those late game bosses, you have to do those things in precise timing, or they just get half their health back.
Yes, and then you're just like, ah, shit.
Yep.
So playing through it, much more enjoyable this time. I am past where I was on the DS version before I gave up on it.
Yeah.
So I'm either past or same point.
It is one that I would highly recommend if you're not burnt out on it by the time you're done. Is a lot of these portable Castlevanias, you would unlock a new campaign with a different character when you beat it, and
Yep.
I would actually highly recommend playing through with that campaign.
Do you still have the magic seals?
No, I don't think. I think they're just done automatically.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a
That
much
might be
faster
right.
playthrough.
Because I know like the magic seals are required to enter the boss doors as well, but they go automatically.
Yeah, no, I think just when you beat the boss, they just die. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure because the whole thing is like the magic seals are a thing that Soma can do, and so it's
Right.
lore relevant for a touchscreen gimmick, which they had to shoehorn into all these early DS games.
And I think that's a big reason I didn't like motion controls or a lot of the DS games, is because I felt like a lot of them were just trying to shoehorn a gimmick in with it.
Yeah, we got this fancy new tech. We have to use it. It's funny though, because that you mentioned, waggle and touch controls were never really your thing, because that's gonna be definitely something I'm talking about today.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I mean, as much as I just shat all over them, they do show up quite a bit in what we're going to be talking about. Aside from that, once I've finished it, I think I'm going to be putting a pause on Castlevania for a bit and diving into Lunar 2.
Ah, yes.
And then maybe I'll do Suikoden 2, because both very highly regarded. Both are apparently the best in the series. So, I mean, hell, why not?
So many RPGs for you this year. My goodness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But with that said, Tyler, you want to talk about some casual games?
Let's talk about them casuals.
We'll be right back after this. So casual games, I mean, there's a lot we could say, a little bit that we can actually describe of what we're kind of aiming for, and it's those games that you can just pick up, play. A lot of them could be for kind of anyone, really. We're looking at, as Tyler mentioned, probably waggle controls or touchscreen games. Mobile games are big in this area. Just perfect to poop with, and yeah, and one really good one that I'm going to bring up is like your Tetris.
So
Tetris, a lot of different versions of it, like your Tetris Effect Connected, which is my preferred way of playing Tetris, or Tetris 99 even, because you can hop in, play a game because you got like 5-10 minutes.
I would
and just
say
kind of enjoy.
Since its inception, Tetris has kind of been, the encapsulation of the casual game. And when I think about a casual game, it has to be something to someone who is completely just cannot grasp the concept of like a video game, like holding a controller or anything like that. But what is happening can make perfect sense to them. And what is happening? Well, you've got blocks falling into holes. It's pretty straightforward.
The history behind Tetris, there is a YouTube video by the gaming historian, which I'm going to shout out. It's just the history of Tetris. It's very worthwhile watching. I think it's like 45 minutes or something. But yeah, the whole idea behind like Tetris on the Game Boy being the pack-in title, and it shot the Game Boy into astronomical numbers actually selling, right? So
everyone and their mom gets Tetris.
Yes.
There's kids that iconic photo of, there's it's like a mom surrounded by her kids as she's playing Tetris. It's like, so straight out of the late 80s. I love it.
And just what they've done with it since.
It's
like, it is still good. And yeah, there's Dr. Mario.
It
but
Dr.
Tetris.
Mario, and like you could say, like a lot of puzzle games are very much fitting to a casual market, and it just falls under that philosophy of like things that it's a lot of the times things that people can grasp in real life, but in video game form, right? Like
Yes.
think of like fucking any computer chess. Um, oh, you know what's the ultimate casual game? Solitaire on the PC.
Yes,
Who
Solitaire.
who
I used to be big
hasn't?
into Spider Solitaire,
I never
out
got
of
into
all
the
things.
spider solitaire, but like just that fact, like if everyone understands that, and it's weird how the PC is such a hardcore gamers market per se, because it's like the original casual game machine,
Pretty much.
you
I mean,
know?
there's a reason that the old systems were like, well, look at Nintendo Entertainment System,
Yeah,
right? But then like you're booting up the Sonys and it's like Sony Computer Entertainment.
yeah.
They were known as computers on their own, just not a computer in the conventional sense.
Well, and it's funny just because if you think back to just trendy lingo from the '90s, it's like everyone wanted to have a system in their house. Like, what's a system? I don't know. It sounds super impressive.
Yes.
Um,
And I mean, back in the 90s, we're looking at we don't need a Super Nintendo. We already have Nintendo at home, right? Or the PlayStation was called Nintendo, and now everything's called PlayStation, I guess. But
it's weird how things change with the times.
right,
But when I think like it's weird because I know it's very easy to think of things like the DS and the Wii when it comes to casual, like Wii Sports obviously being the groundbreaking casual game, but like going before getting into that stuff, it's kind of hard to find. Like if I try to think of like a casual game on the Super Nintendo, I struggle.
yeah. I mean, there's what Vegas Stakes.
Oh my God, Vegas Stakes! I love it. I was hoping that would actually come up in this episode. That's hilarious. Gambling. Who doesn't
Yeah,
understand gambling?
a lot of
Um,
gambling games.
I hesitate to call sports games casual games, like in a sense, more so than something like I don't know, Chrono Trigger. Um, but
GoldenEye multiplayer.
yeah, things that require like people who don't really understand games can often understand sports. That's not a dig. It might be a dig. I don't know. Interpret it how you will. It's things that you can comprehend in the real world, right? Now, I, as someone who hasn't really played a lot of sports games, somehow find them really complicated to play.
Yep.
you
No,
know,
and that's kind of hilarious that you bring that up because it's like I don't. Well, it doesn't really teach you the sports, right? Like I know football.
there's a high learning curve to
I
sports.
know the idea of football. I don't get the teams and trading and all that kind of shit, right? So same with basketballs and your hockey and whatnot. I don't watch sports. It's
Like
simple as day.
I played a fair amount of Tecmo Super Bowl when I was a kid because that was one of the random games I had for Super Nintendo. And I'm gonna be honest, and a lot of sports games since still seem the same to me, where you pick a play, and I don't understand sports plays. They're just lines and dots. I'm fully admitting that. Um,
But
I just pick one, and then most of the team does stuff, and I'm just this little guy doing whatever I can hope to do.
but you know what is a sports game? Well, sports game type that I know you've played a fair chunk of, and I've played a fair chunk of, and that's golf.
Oh, golf is wonderful. This is becoming the sports episode. This is hilarious. Um, so golf, I
Well,
would
it's
say,
made for casuals.
and I would say when it comes to like sports games, golf is a lot easier to understand compared to like you would have hockey, football, basketball. It's sad that I just struggled to name sports. Um, and you have more dedicated fans for all areas, but I would say even people like you said, like ourselves, we can enjoy golf, and golf is pretty straightforward. It's
But
also something that's
here's
very easy to translate into controls.
yes, very much. And then there's also the whole fact that like growing up as kids, you often had like friend birthday parties or go play mini golf and something. So you have some kind of like association with it
Yeah,
for the
yeah,
majority of people anyways. Like I'm not saying every kid's gone mini golfing, but chances are a good portion of them have.
it's like an Ontario rite of passage if you didn't play soccer as a child. I mean, You probably did better off. I sucked at it.
You
So
know how many times I played soccer and how many times I had the ball kicked straight in my face and break
equal.
my nose?
Oh no, I'd hope not equal at that point.
Almost equal.
Oh no. Uh, but that's just it. It's very translatable, and that's like why Wii Sports was such an absolute phenomenon. Um,
Well, yeah, a lot of that comes down to the bowling in Wii Sports.
yeah, bowling was a
Like the
big one.
bowling was the highlight, and the boxing was also neat.
Boxing was It's funny because any actual boxing game that I've played, barring like Punch Out, obviously, I think I've played one of the. I think it's like Fight Night. I don't know. An actual boxing game. They are complicated.
Oh yeah,
They are incredibly complicated.
it's
Wii
one of those things that
boxing,
could be very complicated or very simple.
just punch the air. Just punch the air, and you might win.
You know what? Another kind of casual game that I think that we've kind of overlooked. That's not a sport. Well,
This is
depends
another
on
not quite a
how.
sport, but actually it's a sport game.
Kind of. I guess I think it depends on how southern you are. Uh, Racing games.
I thought you were gonna say hunting games. Um,
Oh yeah, that too. But
yeah, no
no,
racing
that's hunting
games.
for a sport, not a sport.
So racing games are an interesting thing because they have their very like deep niches, right? You got the people
Oh,
who do
that
like they
there's very complex, and
it
then there's very simple.
like so Mario Kart. That's something I could say is very much a casual game. Like that's most
Yes,
people understand it.
and I thought of that just because like my dad kind of despises video games, right?
Yeah,
And I know back in the day we used to play Mario Kart together. Same with whenever we had relatives over, and the adults and the kids were always play 4-player Mario Kart.
yeah.
So it's like that was there, and that was something that they generally wanted to do. So
The N64 opening the floodgates for the casual market.
yeah,
Um, Minigame collections. I was gonna say Mario Party, but Mario Party's this weird kind of like, you know, everyone can kind of get in on it, but it's a video game player's game. Like it has a lot of assumptions
yeah,
of you, so it's hard to say that's casual. But racing, I was gonna say, like, yeah, obviously things like Mario Kart and stuff, they're very user friendly and a lot of people can pick up on it. But a lot of racing games are, I would file under that category that I've dubbed dad games. And when I think of that, I think of like, they only have one game on their computer, but it's that super detailed NASCAR game. They've got the whole setup like with the pedal and the steering wheel, like, they are this full blown simulation mode.
yes. I don't know if I call that quite casual though.
No, see, that's why it's like racing games that can very well fit on both sides of the spectrum.
Yes,
So,
the kart racers I think is what we're looking for.
but hunting games.
Hunting games, yeah.
So, okay, how
It's
many times have you been tempted by like one of the Cabela's hunting games being like $2? Like, no, I'll keep the
so
$2.
so I have played some of them, and they are fairly decent.
They're
There's
just
actually
arcadey shooty fun.
yeah,
Yeah,
one actually really neat one that I think if more people knew about it, and I do know that like some casual people will get into it. Like I know some hardcore hunters who they live and breathe this stuff, right? So,
hmm.
uh, but there's a game called Hunter Mark of the Wild or something,
Okay.
and it's a giant open world, and you actually have to go out and hunt and stalk prey. So you're looking for droppings, you're looking for footprints and all this kind of stuff, and you have your different calls and everything. So it's not the arcadey type thing. You're actually out there hunting as if you were in the field.
It's weird how that sounds more video gamey than the arcadey hunt and shoot the hilarious flying bucks kind of
Yes.
games. Because I would imagine like with that amount of depth comes a decent amount of complexity, right?
Not so much. They actually streamlined it pretty decently.
Because I was thinking
And
of
and
something like what was it, The Long Dark, like almost a survival game, but
oh
also you hunt.
yeah.
That's a video
Yeah,
game.
no, that is a video game. Absolutely. No, this was like there weren't survival mechanics or anything. You could die because a bear could maul you.
Yeah,
But
but there was like tracking and actually like staging your hunt and stuff like that.
yes.
That's cool.
No, there was right down to like ATVs.
Hmm.
so you could travel and all that kind of shit, right? So it was, I don't know, but it was like a hunting game made by hunters.
That's cool. I like
So
that concept.
it was generally actually a lot of fun, and like to the point when like me and a few friends were playing it, and you could actually like flush out, have something like circle a long way around, and flush something out your direction,
That's cool.
like
There's,
you would actually with like deer
yeah,
hunting and stuff.
you can implement some similar strategy and stuff to it.
Absolutely.
That's
So
actually really neat.
it's a little more casual, a little more complex, yes, but it is one of those titles that is just works more for that casual
So
sport hunting.
adjacent to that, although again, another one that I say also leans into the category of dad game. I don't know, it kind of depends on like how hardcore you go with it. But fishing games? Now,
Yep.
it's also because like if you, I think, there's memes of it at this point, like, it's not a good game until it's got fishing in it.
Yes.
But
We aren't talking Stardew Valley or Graveyard Keeper fishing. We are talking like Bass Pro fishing.
yeah, specifically as I look over to my right and see Super Black Bass for the Super Nintendo. It's hard, mostly because I'm not very good at fishing. But fishing games are stupid fun, and I think a lot of people can it's a very real world application that most can grasp, and it's just catch the fish.
You know what is one game I should really give a shot,
What's
just
that?
because it's hilarious.
Oh, is it Dredge?
No, but I do want to kind of check out Dredge. But Sigasato Atoy, the creator of the Mother series,
Yeah,
one of his first games that he made was a bass fishing game.
that's neat.
Yes, it was
And,
Sigasato Atoy's #1 bass fishing.
this is mine. This is what I do when
Yes.
I'm not making the saddest stuff ever.
Oh, it wasn't his first game. Never mind.
Oh no.
No, that was for the Super Famicom
Huh.
in '97.
I just know that he created an app where you could it was like Facebook for pictures of your dogs.
Yes,
Yeah, what a charming man.
he's charming and weird.
Yeah.
Another casual game. Or actually, you know what? I'm gonna bring up something else. We're going super retro now. A lot of the arcade games back in the day, your Pac-Mans, your Space Invaders, your uh Galaga, those type of things. And I'm bringing those up because like when my parents were growing up, and they've always told me these stories, it's like they'd always go to the arcade and play those kind of games.
Yeah.
They're too complex now and rot your brain. But besides the point, they always talked about like those games, and they are so basic by today's standards that they were much more approachable back then.
It was move the
That it
stick.
is,
And if you
yeah,
want to
and
spice things up, move the stick and push the button.
yeah, and I mean they're still making Pac-Man games nowadays,
Yeah, I mean,
and I mean
I got
Space Invaders has released how many times now?
true. And then you've
Is it
got
less
my
or more
time.
than Tetris?
Ooh, that's a good question but here's the thing, like Tetris, as weird as it is, like hard to think of innovating on Tetris, Space Invaders is just the same. Like
Yes.
one time they gave it to us twice on a Game Boy card. Like that's hilarious. It's also a Super Nintendo game. Are we going to tell you that? Why?
Yeah, like casual games
It's
are kind of
not.
everywhere.
It's not different.
Don't worry about it. It's you
Yeah.
got two for the price of one.
Yeah, it's just on your
Actually.
Super Nintendo. It's not. Isn't that the Game Boy game? No, shut up. See,
So like that's some very early
well,
examples of your casual games, if you will.
it's
I
almost
didn't
hard to
even think about the sports, the not sports, the fishing. To be honest, when we were originally talking about this idea,
No, I
but
think
definitely the
fishing feels
golfs.
very casual. Yeah, yeah.
One I was going to bring up because this is going to lead in my next idea is what the golf.
See, I still haven't played What the Golf, but I think What the Golf is a hilarious marriage of golf and almost like a puzzle game.
Oh, it absolutely is.
Yeah,
But it's and that kind of falls into like puzzle games are very approachable by kind of everyone,
yeah,
aside from maybe the witness.
yeah.
But so what the golf, and that leads me into my next next point. There's actually a lot of VR games that I think if people had the ability to, they would count as casual games.
I feel like VR is actually, it's kind of like the new wave of the Wii. where we can take a lot more real life applicable things to a situation you can be in. But first, people have to stop vomiting. That plays a big part in enjoyment.
Yes.
But also, like, we haven't reached that level. Like, I haven't played VR in years, mind you. But the whole, like, teleport movement and stuff, I would imagine is pretty jarring for some.
The blink. But then you got games like, so because they made What the Golf, they also made a game for VR, What the Bat.
Ah, yes.
And you swing a bat to a ball, and you complete puzzles that way. And it's quite charming, just like that. Your Beat Sabers or rhythm games in general.
Yep.
So,
ooh, on that topic, actually, something that exploded into, because casual games can be one of two things. They can either be the thing that everybody can understand, or they can be a fad. Fads, I think, play a big part in the casual market.
Absolutely.
Which leads me into Guitar Hero.
Absolutely.
That was very
Guitar
much
Hero or Rock Band by association.
Yep, at its peak, like that whole like musical game genre with the impersonation instruments, that was a struggle to get out. Yeah, no, that was one like, everyone got. I remember my dad.
That was a great generation, honestly. I fucking love Guitar Hero and Rock Band.
It was, and I remember like my dad coming home and telling me like, have you ever heard of this rock or Guitar Hero thing where you play it with an actual guitar? And of course I'm like, yeah, Dad, it's Guitar Hero, but it's also wild that like my dad, who not even around the like Wii generation, none of that, but this impressed him. So that ain't casual.
No, absolutely.
And then even to an extent, like, I don't know if these were, I think they've been around longer than Guitar Hero, but like Sing Star and those like karaoke games that would be for PS2.
Yep.
The early party games. Jackbox.
Yes. So with SingStar, I'm going to say, and this might be profiling a little bit, but definitely targeted toward like that early teen or going on to teen girls, right?
Oh yeah. Well, and if you're in my experience, drunk teenagers.
Yes.
Drunk teenagers have themselves some good fun with the SingStar. Don't drink underage, kids.
That was me with Rock Band, honestly.
Oh, Guitar Hero, so many times.
It might have been Guitar. No, I think it was Rock Band. Whatever one Dragon Force was in, because I played.
That was Guitar Hero 3.
It was Guitar Hero 3. So yeah. I played the living shit out of that, and the Dragon Force song, I could kind of do on expert. And okay, story time. Speaking of VR vomit, those games gave you so much tunnel vision.
Yeah.
So we were drinking in high school at a party, and the whole main feature was like we had two things of Guitar Hero going. Everyone's like, "Oh, you got to do Dragon Force on expert." So it's like, I can't. Okay, I'll try it. So I did it, finished it. Not perfect by any means, but I didn't get booed off stage, and then just continued to vomit.
Oh no, the walls, they're climbing.
And it's like, I did it! Blah!
Oh, gross. Yeah, no, that game can definitely have that effect. It's funny, so this is a experience that a lot of people never did on Guitar Hero. I might have brought this up even before, but it's so much fun with a controller, and I don't think they let you do that after any of the ones for PS2.
So I think Guitar Hero 3 was on PlayStation 3?
It was on PlayStation 3. I think it came out for PlayStation 2 later.
Okay.
Because I know Guitar Hero 2 was on PS2. But no, it was mostly known for, like PS3 and Xbox 360.
Right.
Yeah.
And now we got Beat Saber, which is a bit of a different beast, but it is a lot of fun. But again, VR only.
Yeah, I've seen it, and it looks like a trip.
It's absolutely fantastic. It's the number one thing I've played on VR. Not that I've done much recently, but definitely needs to be modded.
I never really played it. It was just never my style. But I think DDR for a time is also in a very similar camp to Guitar Hero when it comes to like widespread popularity of something that step on the squares.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
And to coincide with that, you got your Just Dance series, which they're still going with.
Oh yeah. that is a thing every year.
Yes. I actually
Yep.
have a video somewhere, again, of my dad. Someone who doesn't like video games. But it was a family gathering, and one of my relatives brought over the Michael Jackson
Ah,
experience or whatever.
yep.
And he just went absolutely ham on it. He was pissed drunk, but just absolutely ham on, and just over exaggerating the moves. And if you just saw the video, you would say he's making fun of Michael Jackson, but he was kind of nailing it too.
He's doing his damnedest. Oh, good stuff. Yeah, no, I can safely say that was never anything I gave a shot. But
I've given them a shot just because they were there.
Yeah,
right. Especially like family gatherings and whatnot. I mean, if my dad can do it, I can do it.
Accurate.
So.
Trying to think of any, because that kind of era of gaming has kind of gone to the wayside now, especially with all this like online multiplayer. So it's like, I don't know, maybe it's something for like a crowd of it, but it'd be very strange doing like the guitar battles via online stuff like that.
Yes. I mean, there was that for Guitar Hero 3.
I believe
it didn't
so,
work well. It didn't work well, but it was there.
No, that's because they have this weird like Mario Kart style like attacks that you could get. That it's just like, this isn't the kind of game that works with that. Oh, your fretboard's busted for like 4 seconds. Oh, so I lose. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it just got a little ridiculous. But on to, so I know you said you're not a big fan of the waggle controls or the touch screen, but I just want to make a point of how ingenious they were in their design, because motion controls and touchscreens can be something in concept that could be super over convoluted, especially when you look back to, like, there is a hilarious history of motion controls when it comes to the gaming sphere. The one that comes to mind is, I can't remember the name of the Sega accessory, but it was the circle that like was supposed to pick up your movements.
The X Rocker or something?
I can't remember. But it was like a disc that you stood inside of, and it had like sensors that were supposed to pick up, and these were your button inputs where you like step around it, right? It didn't work.
The Activator.
Yes. So
it's like a hexagon or something.
But the Wii, they just designed it after something that everyone who has a TV has ever seen and used, and that's brilliant. And it's just like, what do you do with it? Well, it's got buttons, so it's like a TV remote, but if you move it around, it's a lot like the computer mouse that you've seen, right? And also, if it's your arm, you've moved your arm before, right? Don't take that as offensive, please. So, it's very easy to get across. And same with the DS. Like, a touchscreen can be very complicated, but the fact that they were like, let's use the stylus, and it's just the same as writing. You pick up a pen, you can understand the DS. And it's incredible how that's where gaming exploded with people who don't game.
So, side note on that, I mentioned that I'm playing Dawn of Sorrow. And that game doesn't let you type in your name.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You have to draw it in. Yes.
So to draw it in with a thumbstick was terrible.
Yep. No, I remember that. It was also the time of a lot of in Mario Kart on the DS, I'm pretty sure you could make your own custom emblem with pixel art and stuff. It was doing really cool stuff like that. But there was obviously Nintendogs, which I never played, but Raise a Dog. It's actually much harder than it sounds, but Nintendo made it very doable. So, but then you've got a lot of things.
Almost bring in Tamagotchis and stuff.
Yep. But then you've got things like the Brain Age series and stuff like that was just very easy to grasp. My favorite casual game on the DS, I think, and I don't know how well it did, but it was very much one of those we were appealing to people with our touchscreens kind of games. It was Elite Beat Agents. Oh god, that game's so cool.
What is it? Elite Beat Agents?
Elite Beat Agents. It is a rhythm game, and it's super straightforward. It's dots will appear on the screen 1, 2, 3, 4, or it'll be there's a slide. This stuff you've seen in rhythm games. But they had a bunch of selections of relevant pop culture songs, all covers and stuff like that, and these wacky scenarios that would take place. It was one of the coolest rhythm games I've ever played.
Huh. I
Yeah.
don't even think I've heard of it.
Uh very early DS title. And
Well,
like it's a
let's
Nintendo game.
let's just also say this. I don't know much about the DS 3DS era.
I am aware. Um but to that effect on the Wii, you had Wii Sports.
Yes. Wii Sports definitely did. I knew that. Like
Yes,
that bowling game probably sold, or Wii Sports in general, probably sold more consoles than they ever expected.
I think the Wii Bowling was also the first thing they showed in
I
like
think
the
so.
initial trailer for the Wii.
Probably because they knew it was like the most solid one.
Yeah, yeah.
Golf is weird.
Golf is real weird. I'd never really get good shots in golf.
No.
Uh,
Same with the baseball.
yeah, but baseball had its charm, and I say that as someone who's not too crazy. It's actually kind of funny how like it doesn't track the bat; you're just kind of waving it around.
Yes.
Um, yeah, no, Wii Sports is a solid time. Um, would you say, and I think it's just easier to look at it this because he's become so popular. But do you think Mario counts as casual gaming?
I think so. And I'm basing that on the fact that that was what my mom loved playing. And I
Well,
think a lot of kids who grew up in the 90s, they probably had a mom or dad who liked to play the occasional like Mario game.
well, and Mario's always been pretty straightforward, even to this day, where it's just moving and jumping, right?
Yep.
Like, I would imagine Odyssey would be quite overwhelming to someone who doesn't play video games. But at the
Oh,
same
absolutely.
time, the core concept has just transferred across everything.
I would almost argue like when it going into the N64 era is kind of where that kind of stuff stopped, because like if we're thinking casual games, it's people who don't even understand how to use the camera
Yes.
properly. And I'm actually basing that off of my wife, because we tried to do It Takes Two, and she couldn't get her mind around the camera.
Well,
She couldn't make sense of it.
it's funny because like it's so second nature. You can hop into any game unless it has like overtly different camera controls. You can pretty much control it right off the get go. But yeah, I find that
Absolutely,
is
it's we've been trained as gamers to understand these kind of things. Where if we look at a non gamer and give them something, it's very different.
yeah.
Now, with that said, and this might be a little bit of a stretch, but I think the more 2D it is, the more accessible it is for non gamers.
There's a lot less to grasp about your environment, right?
Absolutely. And what I'm going to bring up is the whole Stardew Valley.
Oh,
There's a
Stardew
lot
Valley's
of people who
wonderful.
are not gamers who have gone into Stardew Valley, and that's all they'll play.
Well, and also now something that neither of us have experience with, but the people who do, oh my god, Animal Crossing.
Yep.
And to an extent, I would also say, and I guess I'll call back to your previous episode where you missed it, The Sims.
Yep.
And if I think that just comes down to those games are just, loose representations of real life. And a lot of people it's just pretty easy. It's like, I'm going to do that, but not mine.
It comes down to how relatable they can be to it.
Or just, even the fantastical elements can be like, yeah, it's regular day to day, but it's my escape day to day, right?
Yes. No,
So,
absolutely.
but Stardew, and yet it's funny because Stardew is one of those games that's like so complicated, but
Well,
the
there's a lot
complications
to
of it
it.
are very easy to grasp.
Yes, there's a lot to it. It's not so much that it's complicated, it's just there's a lot to it, but you pick it up as you go.
Yeah, like when you start getting the ability to like cook and craft things, it's just like, oh, if I combine these things, it makes sense that it makes this thing
And
work.
you aren't punished for not doing something in a certain amount of time.
That's a big benefactor, yeah.
Right? So that it is definitely a choose your own pace.
Yeah.
So, and I think that goes a long way with something being casual.
Yeah. Meanwhile, on the other end of the spectrum, it's like,
Tetris, you failed.
well, I was going to say, Harvest Moon, the thing that Stardew was based off of,
Yep.
is somehow a lot less approachable, especially nowadays.
Well, yeah, and part of that goes down to the 3D effect.
Yeah.
Stardew is very plain Jane in a sense of it set out to do something and it did it well.
Well, it's funny because I think farming has become like the new fishing, where most games try to incorporate some kind of farming, and they gotta cut that out, man. Like I don't mind catching a fish, but don't give me a whole like infrastructure I have to take care of as well as save the world. Like come on,
Yeah. You want to know a really big casual game?
that.
And this is going back years now. Farmville.
So I'm actually surprised it's taken us this long to get on the topic. So mobile games, yes, but for me personally, mobile games that very strongly have their roots in flash games and
Yes.
browser games. Like browser games, those were huge back in the day and very easy to grasp. But there was obviously complicated ones. But my personal favorite and a casual game that did sweep me up for quite some time, fucking Angry Birds.
Yes.
It's you're not going to hear me praise
popular.
Angry Birds much, but Angry Birds tapped into a particular style of game that was always on Flash that I love, which is just like dumb catapult games.
Yep.
And
it made it very appealing to look at.
Yep. Well,
in
not
comparison
even
to like your Flash games.
It also it was touchscreen, so it worked out brilliantly. And then you've got your different kinds of birds and ammos. It's not just Chuck the Rock. Oh no, Angry Birds, like you won't really catch me playing it now, but at the same time, that was a casual explosion.
Oh, absolutely. Going on mobile games as well, and this is it is on PC and it is on consoles as well. The type, but idle games. And it sounds weird to bring this up, but there's so many different idle games, and I'm guilty of it too. It's one of those just dopamine hits of never go big.
See, and it's funny because I look at idle games as like, wait, if I'm not doing anything, why am I doing it? Like,
it's a dopamine hit of never go big.
Yeah,
and you got the more complex type of idle game, which involves more strategy and everything, such as Loop Hero. No, we're talking about like Cookie Clicker, and the one I was into recently was Realm Grinder.
So I actually was playing one for a couple days, and then realized I was playing an idle game and got so pissed off. Yeah, it was like this Godzilla one or something like that, and like because Godzilla's fucking cool. And I get to do it, and it's like a clicker game. I'm like, all right, make some progress. Go back to it, make some progress. And then I come back, and it's like the game's just played the shit out of itself. I'm like, the fuck.
Yeah.
What is the point of anything then?
The whole idea behind them is make number go big.
Oh, and I completely understand that, but at the same time, it was just like, God damn it, they got me. Another big one that like I'm sure they're still very popular, but like going back to Farmville, those like city creator-esque kind of, I would call them a terrarium game, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Super popular, right? Like one that was huge and I think is still going is like Simpsons Tapped Out. Games of that nature, right? You're saving up your resources and then you buy new part for town, and it really just amounts to like, there are things that can increase your resources and whatever if you don't want to spend money, but it's mostly collect the thing and put it where you can just go, I got the thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah. What about?
I know. I brought it up on the podcast, and it's a little more complex, but I could see definitely casual people getting into it a little bit. Anyways, was Towers Unite, where they got a bunch of just different things. They got the casino, they got the room that you could decorate, but then they also have it's just a bunch of mini games that you can go play. So mini golf, again, back to golfing games. There's one called Ball Race, which is very Super Monkey Ball.
Yeah, I find minigame collections, like not unlike Mario Party, can be very hit or miss when it comes to casual. It just depends on the level of approachability, but also variety, right?
Yep.
Can we call shooters casual games, or do they just sell really well? I mean, we kind of call the hunting ones casual games, but then when I think, like, I have a hard time calling Call of Duty a casual game, even though to me it feels like it's weird. It's very weird.
Yeah, no, I definitely see where you're coming from. In a sense, casual, but not the casual that we're going for. You definitely do
Yeah.
see like massive influx on like Counter-Strike, your Call of Duties and whatnot, and that's all they play, right? So it's not that so much that they are like gamers like you and me, where we play so many different things, mostly single player. But then you also have like your people who are just dedicated to that one game, and that's all they play,
Yeah, they don't feel
right?
as pick up and play, even though shoot the thing is a very transferable skill. Um,
So in a sense, yes, but also in a sense, no. It's not so much because again, when you're getting into shooters, you're fiddling around with the camera and whatnot, and I think that's going to be a large barrier for a lot of people. And
yep.
I'm basing that off of the experience I've had watching my wife struggle with it, who's not a gamer, and other people who I've seen who aren't gamers try and pick something up.
That is very true. It does require a lot of that camera management.
Otherwise, I'd be throwing in portals.
Yeah, yeah, that is very
Right?
true.
It's very basic and easy concept to understand, and it comes down to a puzzle game. But because you are using a mouse keyboard or a 3D camera, if you will, in a first person view, that is where kind of you're going to lose the that casual market.
Hmm. No, that makes sense.
I really think that we are talking about more casual. The kind of casual that we're talking about is going to be sticking with the 2D style, where they don't have to deal
2D
with a camera.
or just general approachability, right? Yeah,
Yep.
when you have to manage a whole bunch of it's almost like taking the controller out of gaming as much as you possibly can.
In a sense, although like
S-
really realistically, like with a camera, you're just removing a joystick
True, very
or a
true.
mouse.
Um, I was gonna say, going back to, or at least for me, the originating in the whole Flash scene, tower defense games. I think tower defense games are ones that are surprisingly approachable, and they're very easy for people to get sunk into. Not unlike your
Yes.
idle clickers,
Yes.
because it's just put the thing down and wait. But it also makes a lot of sense.
I mean, if you really want to get down to it, we could be talking about Bejeweled or Bejeweled clones such as Candy Crush Saga and Bubble
Fucking
Bobble type of things too, right?
oh, oh, I love Bobble Bobble. It's so good. It's so wait, no. It's Bust a Move. That's
Bust a
what I
move?
like. Yes,
Yeah,
Bubble
bust a move.
Bobble is the one with the two dragons. But
Right.
very, because they're the
They
same thing.
use those in Bust a Move, do they not? Those
Yes.
characters?
Yeah, at least of that named franchise. But you can fucking Peggle.
Yep.
Oh, it's just Pachinko or Plinko, one of the two. It very different but very similar. Um,
Minesweeper.
Gambling. Just gambling as a whole.
Minesweeper's gambling, especially if you make an IRL version.
Yeah. Oh boy. I used to
It might
like
be very illegal to do that.
when I was a kid. I was like, I don't want to play solitaire. I want to play Minesweeper. And
Yeah.
like, even though it was like all I would do, like I had no idea how to actually play Minesweeper. It was just crank up the amount of tiles and bombs to the max and see how many I can click without triggering it.
See, I used to make the field size the max,
Yep.
do max amount of bombs, but then also the max amount of clear space. So you'd like hit
Mm.
one or two spots and then win. It's
Yep.
like, ha, I did it.
Yep. I do remember doing that as well.
Yeah.
Oh, casuals.
Oh, what a different time. Ski free.
Ski
I'm
free.
I'm, I'm going to bring up like that whole little package of
The
things
suite of
actually.
Nintendo or Microsoft classics.
Yeah, because you had like
Space
ski
Punball
free,
3D.
Spaceball 3D. That was the pinball one, right? Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
And it was just a shareware version. There's an actual full version out there somewhere. Uh, Chips Challenge,
Ooh, Chip Challenge is so good.
and one that I know I played a lot of back in the day was Jezball.
That sounds dirty.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like you got depending on the level of difficulty you're on, and you progress through the levels. But there's little beach balls bouncing around the screen, like the DVD symbol. that you always want to hit the corner directly.
Yeah.
And then you'd move your cursor, and you could either flip it to horizontal or vertical, and you had to try and clear so much space. So if you clicked in the middle, it would draw a line up the middle. And if there's no ball up on the right side, just the left, it would close up all the right side.
Oh, kicks.
So
Yeah, it's just kicks.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, no, that game's
I know
stupid
it is just ball.
addictive. Yeah. Ew, dirty.
Easy enough to. That's even worse when you say it's kicks and just ball. Never put kick and ball.
QIX.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. It's one of those things you know, but you don't know.
Yeah.
So, I think like this falls under casual to an extent that it's become, well, I guess they're all genres that we've been mentioning. But board games? You know? Like, I'm sure all of us have played one of the Monopolies or some sort of, but in video game form. And the hilarious thing is, they're usually worse. Like, they just take longer, but...
yeah.
But there's a charming novelty to, and I guess you can also just, if you got no one around, but damn, you could really go for a round of the game of life. Like...
So, I was just thinking that, because, like, do you remember, and apparently this was only in Canada, I don't know that for a fact, but they used to put games in cereal boxes.
Yes, I got Candyland. It gave me a virus.
Oh, geez. I did not get Candyland. But there was Roller Coaster Tycoon, but then also the Game of Life and Clue.
Yeah,
and
Clue was among them.
I played Clue a lot with friends, and it sucked because you had to turn people around so they couldn't see what you had. And the Game of Life, played those both a lot. And it's easy enough because most people who say no to video games also know what a board game is and can enjoy a board game.
Oh, and you know what are also really good, like, casual games that I find, like, they're good party games, is stuff like Family Feud or Wheel of Fortune in video game form. Like, they're pretty straightforward to most people, and they're stupid fun to get a bunch of people on board, right?
Or one that I just remember my parents picked up a long time ago, obviously a long time ago. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yeah. just
right?
Just quiz. It's just trivia, but it's special trivia.
I can't say much because on my phone I have just Sudoku. That's it.
Yeah. Sudoku is very approachably casual. Well, you know, I'm not a big fan of it, but it's
easy enough to understand once you know the rules.
Yeah, it's like no different than, it'd be really weird to buy like a Super Nintendo crossword game, and yet I'm sure it exists.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Wordtress. Oh, Bookworm. Have you ever played that?
Oh yeah.
God, I love Bookworm. Shit. It's so good, and it's just Boggle with tiles, and I want it for Game Boy Advance. I know it's out there.
So I had to look this up. Yeah, I'm looking up for a word search game for Super Nintendo.
Oh, weird.
No, I'm just finding like people made up word searches for it. But there probably is one. Almost guaranteed that there's one.
There's gotta be. You know, I know that would be a big thing, like on the DS.
Oh, absolutely.
But, you know, then it's just a newspaper at that point.
What other casual games you got?
I'm trying to think. You know, the further
brought up
I
briefly,
go,
like Dr. Mario, it kind of sits there too.
Yeah. Most of your like fucking columns.
Columns.
Yeah. You know, and those are those ones that kind of like, I've always wanted to try Hatris. It seems so dumb. If it ends with Tris, there's probably some kind of casual element to it. Yes,
absolutely.
I'm trying to think of things that's just like, you know, knowingly approachable to me. But then I like, because I was actually going to say, like, you know, what do you have for like casual games in your library? And I had a quick glance, and like, there's a few, but I don't really have a whole lot of that going on.
So, actually, I was thinking about this because we brought up the Call of Duty thing, and well, I don't think that is the casual that we're going for. I'm just thinking back to like when they had arcades out in the wild more often than they do now. Or the times that you go to the movie theater and they have an arcade while you wait.
Light gun games.
Thinking the light gun games, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're even at home, you got the duck hunts, right?
See, I think the whole like arcade scene when it is like the more simulation aspect, like the motorcycle games where you get on the motorcycle and stuff. Like, yeah, those feel very casual, but they also feel very novel. I guess that's kind of the whole point.
Yep.
But yeah, it's like if you've seen this before, hop on.
Yeah, or even the light gun games, because I know they were very popular. And I mean, that brings in DDR as well, right?
It's a really weird genre that has a lot of casual aspects to it, but I know is a very high skill ceiling genre, and that's fighting games.
Oh, absolutely.
It's very weird how there is a genuine casual and hardcore market to it, like two totally different demographics.
And it's not even that you're changing like controls or not. You're just understanding the game versus button mashing.
Yep. But people like to see.
I'm a button masher. I will fully admit.
I sit
don't
like
know what
right
the
in
hell
the
I'm
middle.
doing.
I try to learn, but I also like fumble my way through it. It's fighting games are good fun. But yeah, as far as more casual, the last thing that I can think of that I was like tempted by, and I'm kind of bummed that I never got it, was like 52 Clubhouse games for Nintendo Switch, something like that.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that's a whole bunch of them.
There's 52 for you right there.
I haven't played it, but welcome tour, maybe.
I don't even know. Is it a game? Tour? Does that mean that like the DS version of the Louvre tour is also a casual game?
Maybe.
Are walking sims casual games?
To some, or the visual novels, right?
Nah, no, that's not casual.
But you know what I could see being a casual game if people were willing to give it a shot?
That
a short hike.
Oh, short hike that's my casual game right there.
Because it has a few more mechanics than your standard, like, well, your Pac-Man and whatnot, but at the same time, it's so simplistic. It's so calming. There's no real downfall. There's no failing.
I don't think you have any camera control over it either. I think it pretty much takes that away from you.
I think so.
Yeah. I'd say another one for me. Now, this is, again, niche casual, but the one I've brought up several times before, Lonely Mountains Downhill, the mountain biking game. Oh, and they're coming out with a sequel, and it's skiing. Ski Free's back.
It's out on Steam now, isn't it?
I think so. I don't know if it's like completely out or if it's greenlight, but yes, I do believe it is available on Steam. I'm hoping it comes to consoles.
Yeah.
Multiplayer too. That's so cool. That's the one thing I wish they did in Lonely Mountains that they didn't. And
it wouldn't be so lonely.
Skis. No, it's all true. It would just be mountains. Mountains downhill.
Actually, you know what? To go along with a short hike, I think one that would be good for casual people if they gave it a shot is Untitled Goose Game.
Untitled Goose Game is wonderful, and yeah, I think that would also fit very well into the casual. Just be a dick.
Okay, you know what? Let's bring that up. Like games that would be good for casuals if they were willing to give it a shot. It might be daunting to begin with. So, a short hike, Untitled Goose Game.
So I've never played it. It's one of those ones that's like very satisfying to a lot of people, but like unpacking, I feel
yes,
very much a casual joy of a game. It just it just scratches that kind of itch that a lot of people have for nice or a lot of decorating games actually.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Even The Sims. I don't know about nowadays, but like back in the day, and your Sim Cities, like that would be more. If they're willing to give it a shot, they could get into it.
I do remember The Sims was it was a lot more popular than SimCity. It just comes down to that. It's just real life, but also kind of like a Tamagotchi. What could I recommend to the casual area?
One I could bring up is Baba Is You.
That's an interesting one, because it falls under that like puzzle, but it's very straightforward. I don't think you were ever really given like time constraints or anything either.
No, I don't think so.
Just figure it out.
Play until you can't.
Yeah.
right?
I never played them, but I think like the Box Boy games.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Although those might actually be a little bit complicated.
I
Um,
don't know. I haven't played one.
there's the Trials games, like the motorcycle Trials games.
Yep.
I found those fall very much into that casual kind of vibe.
In a
Um,
sense, yeah, I could see that.
yeah, yeah. It's just tilting. Understand the tilting. Um, I don't know. I'm definitely struggling to think of some more casual, but I also acknowledge that I have some particularly niche. Like it's hard to think of RPGs.
Yeah.
You know, um, intense platformers. Like it's not a casual game. Fucking Mega Man. Like
Blasphemous.
Blasphemous is not. But Blasphemous is lovely.
I mean, you could bring into the Mario parties.
I don't think he would fall under the category of casual, but
But
Kirby.
Kirby.
Yeah. Because, like, Kirby is, like, a small but dedicated fandom. Well, I mean, it still sells millions, but all the same. And those games are always, like, incredibly user friendly. Something about Kirby, though, just doesn't have that kind of approachability appeal.
You know what? Out of all things, I don't think the Kirby mainline series, but I think some of the Kirby spin-offs.
Not, not Dream Course. Dream Course is the
I was
one
thinking
on the
Tilt and Tumble.
surface. Tilt and Tumble, the hardest Kirby game.
Yes, but it is easy to understand and get
Oh,
going.
in the note of Tilt and Tumble, WarioWare Twisted. Oh, that game's so
Yes.
good, and you just turn the DS for the most, or not the DS. You can put it in the DS. It actually, if I'm not mistaken, it was one of the because it would have come out before or after the Game Boy Advance SP. So when you were actually booting the game up, it asks you, "Is this coming out of the top or the bottom of your console?"
Right.
Yeah. Oh, WarioWare Twisted, so good.
One that might be more casual, and it's because it's a bit of a party game, is the Overcooked series.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right? Like I know there's
Actually,
quite a few people who don't play games, but they'll play Overcooked with like
I
a
think
spouse.
and Overcooked is very much just an evolution of something like Diner Dash, which I know is very popular in the casual market.
Yep. No,
So
absolutely.
that that makes a lot of sense. One that I think it's become a very niche franchise now, but it as its kind of genre is Worms, or for those who had not played Worms but ever played like just an old school tank game where you're just lobbing arch shots at each other.
Yep.
I find those are very casual friendly.
Yeah, no. I could see that. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. It's like Angry Birds way before.
Yes. There's one that I played recently, and by recently I mean within the last 5 years. I forget what it was called, but it was actually really well done, and it was like newer and all that. Ah, so if you ever want to give it a go, I forget what it's called though. I'm gonna look for it now.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of more classic esque Super Nintendo era kind of casual games. Like, I don't know how casual it would be. Like point and click games.
Yeah,
Yeah,
depending on yeah, no, I could definitely see that.
it's got a bit of a range. Oh, and they never took off. They could have been the perfect casual game, but something like Dragon Slayer, where it's just a choose your own adventure movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, with Overcooked brought up, Played Up. It's a little more complicated than Overcooked, but same kind of idea.
Ah, yes.
It's actually really wonderful. If you ever liked Overcooked, Played Up is very good.
Then I think also just any card games. You can go back to gambling again. You know, slot machine games. Oh, bygone era. I really want a copy of Vegas Stakes. God damn it.
I think the original Pokemon Shell Shock Live. That's what it was called.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was very good.
Well, I was actually going to say, like, Pokemon itself, I don't think is very casual, but Pokemon Go is incredibly
Oh, I didn't even
casual.
think about that. Yeah, Pokemon Go. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah, Pokemon Go is like, Wii Sports level of explosion with people who have no general interest in it before.
Right.
Yeah.
Or it brought back a lot of people that just fell off of it.
That is true. It very much refueled the fandom to this wild thing that it is today.
Absolutely. No, that's a really good call.
Mm-hmm.
As for that, I'm not too sure what else.
Yeah, I think I've pretty much just rattled off what I could look at. I know there's lots that we
There's
haven't.
actually one I just thought of because it popped up in I just saw it on my Steam list.
What's that?
Tabletop Simulator.
Oh, what? Oh, like tabletop card games and stuff?
So Tabletop Simulator, you can just there's a lot of mods for it,
Yeah.
but it's essentially a online tabletop. If you can play it on a tabletop, you can play it in this.
Interesting.
So like we've had like Munchkin Quest.
Ah.
It's been since taken off the workshop and whatnot, but because
I was gonna say just have a whole bunch of mods that people put in that are like just different board games and stuff.
yep.
That's neat.
So like just going through the workshop right now, most subscribed. Someone did Uno, someone did Cards Against Humanity, someone has the Game of Life, Settlers of Catan, Clue, Monopoly,
Yeah.
Fallout Monopoly. There's so many things tossed into this. Bunch of different Dungeons and Dragons stuff.
Yep. I can see
But
that being
yeah,
a good way to go about that.
so many different things. So if you're looking for a tabletop, especially like when COVID hit and everyone was locked down, a lot of people did this.
Yeah, yeah. I think a
So
big thing that has the casual appeal is that a lot of the times it has some kind of multiplayer aspect to it as well, right?
absolutely.
Because I'm sure, there's people obviously who wouldn't mind playing these games day after day after day. Not unlike your solitaires and your Tetris. But a lot of these are just kind of, I got 5 minutes to kill, or I just want to get together with some people and just do
Yeah,
something to
we
pass the
got
time.
it's the old let's get together at each other's house, have a couple beers and play euchre.
Yep, euchre. I don't know if I've ever seen a euchre game. I'm sure it exists. It must.
Well, it's just cards, right?
Yeah, yeah. But no, I think I've pretty well exhausted my casual input.
Yeah, I think a lot of like the casual games, especially the ones that we got started off with tonight, um, fall into like that mobile era. Like chances are you can find it on mobile.
The explosion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what?
Right.
Before we call it quits on this episode, I'm just gonna go on my phone and see what the top ones are.
The top mobile games.
Yeah.
Raid Shadow Legends.
Oh, look, Royal Kingdom, which is kind of it's a
It's like a
match
city
3.
builder kind of thing. Oh, is
No,
it a
it's a
match
match
three?
3. You got to save the king.
Oh. Oh.
Block Blast, more of a Tetris type of thing.
Yep.
Roblox, Mahjong.
Yep.
So you got Tower Defense, King Shot. So Monopoly, there it is.
Yep.
So I mean, you're getting a lot of the same kind of ideas, right?
Mm-hmm.
The match games and shit like that. So
Well, and I think the moral of the story, kids, is doesn't matter how much you don't like gaming, there's probably something you'll be able to enjoy in this vast sea of technology.
there's a little something for everybody.
Exactly. And then there's a lot for things like me, which is why I can never play them all.
Yes. No, I mean, there's nothing wrong with casual games, and you know what? Half the casual games that we mentioned today, um, you've played, I've played, I have no problem playing a lot of them, right? So
Yeah. Yeah. We talked about sports probably longer than any other episode.
this is
That's
true.
wild.
So to those wanting us to talk about sports, even though that we have nothing constructive to actually talk about, and it would be the shortest episode, there you go, I guess.
It's a mini-sode within an episode.
We
It's called the
threw you a
sports
bone.
one. Yeah. Yeah.
No, casual games. Play them. They're fun.
Yeah.
Not everything has to be
Dark
complex.
Souls.
Dark Souls or Factorios. Or really obscure games like Yumi Nikki.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, I've got Rhino remastered upstairs. What's that? Who knows?
Yep.
Yep. So.
It's an Atlas game, isn't it? Because I don't
It
actually
is. It's an SMT spin-off.
know. Ah,
Yeah. I am quite excited.
that'll do it.
Figure out what that means, casuals.
With that said, I guess that's going to be a wrap on this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope chances are you know someone who loves casual games or who would love casual games because they don't generally play games themselves. And I think that goes for yourself, right, Tyler?
Tell us what you would play when Grandma comes over in the comments below.
Yeah, do that. What
Euchre.
Tyler just said.
Yeah.
You can find us on Twitter or Blue Sky. Search up at Optional Boss PC. You can always email us if you have any questions, comments, or anything to be read out on the show, if it is deemed appropriate, anyways. That is optionalbosspodcast@gmail.com. With that said, you can find us over on YouTube as well. Be sure to tell your friends, family, enemies, lovers, whatever, casuals, and we will see you next time.
Bye!